Reliance is bringing Shein, the world's cheapest fast fashion company, back in India. By the way, this costed us just $3.99. Shein, the Chinese giant famous for the most dirt cheap clothes, is back in India after getting banned in 2020. And this comeback has been possible because of none other than Ambanis, who want to make a disruption in India's 80,000 crore fast fashion industry. By the way, Shein's buzz is so big that it was trending in the top 10 apps of the App Store in just the first week of its comeback. So how is a so-called Chinese company making a return in India? How are they so cheap, and what's the model there? And also, what is in for Reliance and how is Reliance doing it? We'll cover all of this in today's episode. But before we get into the episode, I want to share with you that GrowthX is now part of the Zerodha media network. Now coming back to Shein. See, let's first understand that why is Shein so dirt cheap and why was it actually banned? Look, there are three simple reasons for the cheapness. The first one is their ultra fashion model. By the way, this is something that was brought by Zara into the world and later got adopted by many other brands like H&M and Zudio. For simplification, just think of this as an on-demand model where instead of producing 1,000 items in bulk and then selling them, Shein produces a batch of 100 samples of different styles that are trending on social media, tests them in the market, and produces more of only those designs that are getting hit. Now, this helps them to avoid a lot of high cost of dead inventory as it leads to less unsold mal. And to make sure that these models work efficiently, Shein has an in-house design team that is always active to identify new trends and pass it on to the manufacturing. But one interesting moat that Shein has built over even a legend like Zara is that they have built the right solid partnerships with Chinese third-party manufacturers who would produce goods for Shein at an extremely low minimum order quantity. By the way, minimum order quantity refers to the minimum quantity guarantee you need to give to any third-party manufacturers to make sure that they accept your orders. All manufacturers have MOQs, but for Shein, these MOQs have been really low because of the great relationships they have built. For context, Zara produces a minimum of 300 to 500 units of one design with their contract manufacturer, while Shein only does 100 units for each design. Now, the second thing that they have cracked is the only online game where they don't want to ever own any store. Everything they do in India and even outside has been mostly through app and through their website. This again saves a hell lot of costs and capital expenditures for them. Also, in our research, we found that Shein does not even have a big in-house design team like other companies. This again is something that they outsource to their suppliers and again use a lot of data for scouting some of the best designs. This is something for which they have faced a lot of copyright lawsuits from a lot of brands internationally. The third reason why their clothes are cheap is using tax loopholes for imports. For example, in the US, there is a de minimis rule where companies can ship packages below $800 without paying import duties. They did the same in India by shipping various products as gifts, as gift imports up to 5,000 rupees do not involve any import taxes. So Shein's funda is simple. They don't own retail stores, they use cheap raw materials and labor, they save import duties by using tax loopholes, they have a big in-house design team, and also have strong tie-ups with the right factories that are ready to produce at lower MOQs just for them. And not so surprisingly, Shein has received a lot of backlash, not just in India, but also from other countries because of data safety issues, because of exploitation of factory workers, and also because of using tax loopholes. But for now, the question is that how is this Reliance partnership different and what is actually in for Reliance this time? Well, we'll get into that, but before we do that, I have some more tangible value for our viewers for free today. Look, one of our earlier cohorts built a growth strategy for Resorte, which is again a fashion brand of Reliance. This strategy ran into hundreds of pages deep and was so realistic that they presented it to the entire startup ecosystem at GrowthX Demo Day. And now today, we are giving away a small portion of this exclusive document to all of you folks for free. In this document, you'll find in-depth insights about the users, the market research, the product insights, and also the complete growth model. So just grab it from the link in the description for free and happy learning. Now coming back to what's in it for Reliance. Look, the way of this partnership is very interesting because this is not a joint venture, but a license agreement. Let me explain. See, Reliance Retail Group, the legal company that is behind Reliance Retail, has made an agreement with Rojet Business Private Limited, which is the legal company behind Shein. This agreement will have 4 things happening. The first one is that Reliance will own the Shein app completely and also all of the data of Indian consumers, so the government and citizens are happy. Second, the entire supply chain by Reliance will be Indian instead of Chinese, which means that there will be zero imports and everything will be made in India. Third, Reliance will do this by creating a network of local manufacturers to promote the economy here. Now, the fourth and most important thing is that Reliance will pay Shein a certain fee, either fixed or on the basis of revenue, for using Shein's brand name. This means that Shein will get some good easy money out of this entire jazz. Even Piyush Goyal, who looks after the Ministry of Supply and Industry, has said in a statement that this approval has only been given because this app will create a network of local manufacturers and suppliers who will manufacture products under the brand Shein and sell them in India and also outside later on. So the entire silver lining out of this is that we'll see better supply chains being built and more money coming to the factory workers. And look, for Shein, it also makes sense because they have not been having the best time. With all the backlashes everywhere, Shein has even slashed its valuation of the IPO this year in London. So this will be a good source of revenue where they get paid for little effort while staying relevant in the consumers' minds. And for Ambani, this is a masterstroke as they have not been able to crack the fast fashion in India. If you look at the online fashion retail, you would see that Reliance's Ajio only has 4.5% market share, where other brands like Flipkart, Myntra, Meesho and even Amazon have been dominating the world. And now if you look at offline, Tatas have been killing it with their brand Zudio. By the way, Zudio today makes more revenue than the OG West Side brand of Tatas at more than 6,000 crores. In fact, Ambani's also tried to launch their Zudio rival, Yusta, back in 2023, but that did not work out as well as they would have thought. Plus, now the space is getting heat with more new startups like NewMe, Snitch, Style Up and Intune coming up into the picture. But the good thing for Ambani's is that this will help them directly borrow the trust that the Indian user has with Shein. Using a brand name that already has a high recall will be a great way to solve for trust than building a brand from scratch like Yusta. Now, enough about the supply side, right? Let's talk about the demand side and understand why Ambani's are so excited. Well, to understand this, look at India's fast fashion landscape. In fact, even if you look at this chart, you would see that India's fast fashion will become 25% of the entire retail market of the country. This market currently stands at 80,000 crore mark and is expected to 3x by 2030. But stuff gets even more interesting if you put things in perspective. Now just compare the size of India's entire fast fashion market with Shein's overall global sales. You will see that Shein's global sales are 3 times bigger than our entire fast fashion market. From this, you can just imagine how big is the upside because India's fast fashion market can get way bigger from here. Plus, this entire growth is solely being driven by the Gen Zs and the millennials of the country. The customer group that makes up more than 50% of the entire population and is not super obsessed with the quality of fabric or the touch and feel of the kapda like the boomers, but rather more concerned about how trendy and affordable a particular top or t-shirt is. This is happening in the tier 2 cities too. In fact, brands like Zudio and Vishal Megamart have found the real dhanda opportunity in tier 2 only. Also, one interesting thing happening here is that even fast fashion has a lot of segmentation if you go deep. India's fast fashion landscape is divided into 3 segments. One is premium, one is medium value, and one is ultra value on the basis of pricing. This ultra value segment is the most cheapest and most competitive space where Shein has been able to create a mark globally. And this is very interesting because customer loyalty is way more difficult in this space because it is based not on the basis of brand name, but on the basis of price and trendiness. So it'll be very interesting to see how this entire game plan by Reliance Retail to compete in the ultra value competitive category works out. But if there's one thing we all have understood about Reliance, is that they can actually disrupt any sector that they put their mind to. If you learned something from this video, do let us know in the comments. Don't forget to grab the resource from the link in the description. Ciao.